Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're taking a look at this VCX 100 light freighter, otherwise the base model for what we know as the Ghost. This was one of the Corellian Engineering Corporation's freighter designs. A notable example of this model was the Ghost, a modified VCX 100 owned by Harris and Dula. All right, looking at everything here, characteristic wise, the CVX or VCX, I sorry, keep getting them mixed up. 100 was outfitted with sleeping quarters, a galley, a common room. Its armament comprised of a dorsal turret and a frontal turret, later being controlled by a gunner in its seat from the cockpit, or from the cockpit, I should say. The cargo bay and main entrance ramp for the VCX 100 were mostly located in the front of the freighter below the forward turret. VCX 100s also had a slot in between its main engines into which the VCX series auxiliary starfighter could dock. The VCX 100 was also outfitted with a magnetic cargo clamp on its ventral plating, capable of holding several bulk containers. History wise, in 10 BBY, before Han Solo owned the Millennium Falcon, Solo played a game of sabacc against Lando Calrissian to try and win the latter's starship. Solo bluffed that he owned a CVX 100 to use as collateral before, or in order to get Cardassian or Calrissian's attention. I'm sorry. In 5 BBY, a VCX 100 light freighter was docked at a shipyard on Ferrix. The Ghost was a notable VCX 100 piloted by Harris and Dula. In 0 BBY, the Ghost participated in the Battle of Scarif and the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY. In 35, I'm not going to cover that one because that's talking about what may or may not be canon in the near future, talking about joining in the fleet against the Sith forces on the planet Exegol. So that's the base history that we get here from Wikipedia. Just kind of want to cover a little bit of what they have here, and then we'll get into what we have on rpggamer.org. So, the VCX 100 light freighter cost brand new is going to be 155,000 credits, has a length of 43.7 meters, a width of 13.26 meters, and a height of 33.84 meters. Maximum atmospheric speed is 1,025 kilometers an hour. Has two main engines and two secondary engines. Class has a Class 2 hyperdrive with a Class 14 backup. Of course, it's going to have a nav computer in there. Let's see. The armament is two CEC dual laser turrets, one auxiliary craft on here. We have a crew of one plus a co-pilot slash engineer and two gunners and six passengers. Let's see. That's pretty much what we have here on Wikipedia. And now we'll flip on over and we'll see what we have for stats in the D6 universe. Okay, so looking at this in the D6 version of it, again, we have the length of 43.9 meters, a width of 34.2 meters, height of 14.5 meters. This is roughly about, what, 3 decks tall. So this is a bigger ship than what we got from the Millennium Falcon. And most notably, we did get this in Rebels. So we have a crew of one and gunners of two. We have passengers of six, consumables of about 1 month, which is the same as what was listed for Wikipedia. We do have a cargo capacity of 180 tons. So this does give us more cargo than what our standard YT 1300 has. Cost is 160,000 credits brand new, 48,000 credits used. Again, we do have the hyperdrive being listed as a times 2 and a backup of 14. Nav computer is, of course, on board, has a space speed of 6, an atmospheric speed of 1,050 kilometers an hour. Now, I think that we do have this listed slightly faster by about 25 kilometers an hour on rpggamer.org than what we did in Wikipedia, but thereabouts. We have a maneuverability of 2D, so that does tell it is fairly maneuverable. We have a hull of 4D, so it is fairly resilient, and a shields of 2D, about on average. Sensors wise, we have a passive sensor going out to 1.5 kilometers at a 0D bonus, a active scan going out to 3 kilometers at a 1D bonus, a active search out to 5 kilometers at a 2D bonus, and a focus out to 200 meters at a 3D bonus. The weapons that we have on board, we have one Tame and Bach MS 2B twin laser cannon. This is the nose turret. Fire control is 2D. Damage is 4D. We also have one Tam and Bach KX4 dorsal laser turret. Dorsal. This is our dorsal turret here. Fire control is 2D, and again the damage is a 4D. Mounting points for two forward-facing photon torpedo launchers. Uh, Probably going to be from the canards here, or on the sides of the uh, cockpit and nose. All right, the description that we have listed here: the VCX 100 light freighter was one of the Corellian Engineering Corporation's freighter designs, a most notable example. Same thing that we had from the Wikipedia, and based on the Ghost, the VCX 100 has sleeping quarters and perhaps even a kitchen. Its armament comprised of dorsal turret and frontal turret, the latter being controlled by a gunner in its seat from the cockpit or from the cockpit. The cargo bay and main entrance ramp of the VCX 100 was mostly located in the front of the freighter, below the forward turret. VCX 100s also had a slot between the main engines in which the VCX auxiliary craft could be. Yeah, all the same listed here is what we have from Wikipedia. Um, a side note, and I do want to point this out because Dave Filoni himself had kind of mentioned that when you look at this, this is the front cockpit portion of that is a B 17 Flying Fortress. That's where that part of the design comes from. So this is a Star Wars version of that, and turned into a freighter, which I do find as a very cool and interesting part of it. So, just kind of a little side note. Now, what I can't do is I can't leave this just sit here by itself, and we do have to flip this over to having our auxiliary starcraft. So, this is going to be again at Starfighter scale. It has a length of 11.63. This is our Phantom from the Ghost. A crew of one, 8 passengers, consumables for about 1 day. We also have enough room, either having the passengers or 1 ton of cargo, one way or the other. There is no hyperdrive, no backup hyperdrive, no nav computer. It's just strictly in an auxiliary shuttle. Has a space of 7, an atmospheric flight of 950 kilometers an hour, which is where you're going to see the wings kind of fold out for. Has a maneuverability of 1D and a hull strength of 3D. Now, there are no shields listed on this ship. Um, we have a sensor packet, passive scanning, goes out to 2 kilometers at a 0D bonus. An active scan for going out to 3.5 kilometers and a 1D bonus in active search of 5 kilometers with a 2D bonus and a focus out to 100 meters and a 2D plus 2 bonus. Now, this has two weapon systems itself. Uh, has one MS-2B twin laser cannon in the front, has a fire control of 2D and a damage of 5D. Also has one KX4 dorsal turret, has a fire control of 1D and damage of 4D. Now, the description we have listed, which will probably be the same thing that you would find on Wikipedia, but the VCX series auxiliary starfighter was a short range starfighter that was attachable to the VCX 100 light freighter manufactured by the Karelian Engineering Corporation. The rebels of Lothal used a modified type of this fighter during various situations when fighting against the Empire. Now, finishing up on all of this, I really love the direction that they had gone with this. Just the fact that you actually have a standard ship and a shuttle. Because of me being the kind of geeky nerd, however you want to call it, lover of science fiction and all that, this is almost like a Star Wars version of a Star Trek type ship. We actually get a shuttle on a small ship, which is wonderful. Now, you can be in the process of doing one thing and you can send off supplies to something else or whatever. Um, it gives us a wider variety of things that we can do. Doesn't always make it fun and exciting or whatever else, but yes, you can have 1 ton of cargo here on your shuttle as well as having your regular drop off. So, in a sense of doing negotiations or whatever else, we'll just say, like for the Jedi, if this was originally produced for enticing the Jedi to want to use a ship like this, um, you could send out either a scouting party or a small complement to meet up with a larger ship. Maybe it doesn't have a large hull or a docking bay or something like that, so you can actually land in its standard landing bay area and meet or whatever else. Uh, it gives it a little extra flexibility, and I loved that in this design. So, but that's my 2 cents in this. Um, Let me know what you think about it. I love the idea of it. I thought it gave us a lot broader sense of what we can do. So, with that, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. I know I'm still fighting a cold here and trying to get everything out. So hopefully you guys can hear it accurately. It's kind of hard being all stuffy and all that. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video.